Hey, friendos. We have a treat for you today. We have MathyNoodles joining us. Hello, MathyNoodles.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
We're going to do a team up for your 1201 Solo Champions League deck list. So you, true to form, took aggression and found some good success. So maybe you want to tell us a little bit about your aggression She-Hulk deck.
Yeah, absolutely. So, definitely a big red player. I don't think I played it like literally at all last season, which was definitely very weird for me. But it is by far my favorite. I've historically played it in like all the rounds, like pretty much I ever could before alliances went up and stuff. I always found it just like really fantastic, really fast. But so when the opportunity presented itself that Red could actually burst down this villain very, very quickly in this scenario,
Hmm.
I definitely went down the rabbit hole to see like just how fast I could get things. um, when uh, when the uh, when the round was first announced, we kind of in our alliance chat where I know we're talking about like, is this possible to actually do a round one victory? Is that a thing that we can do? And I know you got really close, and I definitely got really close, and I think we were able to pull it off in some scenarios. But I think we both came to the conclusion that it was just better to try and get like a 2 or 3 round victory because it was way more consistent in terms of getting like a clean win.
Agreed. Yeah, I was able to get a couple decks to about like 1 in 3 1 round. I was able to get 1 round victories with them,
Hmm.
but they it really bit you in the butt if you failed the 1 round victory and then had to deal with the fallout.
Yeah, absolutely. And like my a lot of my deck kind of like maintained like basically what I was trying to do. So I was just trying to pack in a lot of really high damage events, basically all the ready events that you could. Now that we got that spider pack, we've got all
Hmm.
those 15 hit point bonus cards, including the ready event, which in this case is absolutely insane.
Right.
So basically, with this deck, kind of how we were looking at it and why we thought we could get it so fast is because one, Taskmaster has really low health. Two,
Yep.
we have access to these campaign upgrades, and three, we have the Power Stone modular set in play. So between all of that, basically with She-Hulk, she's already got a base attack of 3. If you take the basic attack upgrade and then just with like one basic swing, you can get the Power Stone from Taskmaster, and suddenly your attack becomes 5. So with Cheap Ready is just like already kind of in She-Hulk's deck, and then that new basic ready for the 15 plus health heroes. The amount of damage you can burst out with her is just absolutely insane in this scenario. After refining it a little bit more, basically just like took out some of the more greedy events like toe to toe. Like I thought that would be good at first, but that was just like a little bit too much. Tried to take out some of the greedier allies. I thought I could play them more with Tech Scanner being the tech upgrade that we were going for, just for all that
Hmm.
card draw. But honestly, like a lot of the higher cost allies, we're just not going to be able to get full value out of them with us trying to end this game in 2 to 3 rounds. And after a bunch of testing, I was able to refine it to the point where I could pretty much always consistently get a win, a clean, healthy win in like 2 to 3 rounds.
Right.
Um, it's still got it's still got a few aggression events that are pretty good. It's got a couple of red allies, like obviously Hulk is just insane, running a lot of fists in this deck. So
Right.
with him, we basically want to swing all the time, just because I did the math that you're twice as likely to draw a fist in this deck than you are a science. And then skilled strike is just absolutely amazing in terms of being like low cost, and we're attacking a bunch anyway, so we're basically always going to be able to get it off. And then surprise attack, because we're flipping at least a couple of times. There's a pretty good chance we can get that off, and that again is just efficient face damage.
Right.
Um,
I was curious because I mean I read through your write up, which was it was awesome that you produced that, and I was wondering if you did flip on turn 2 with this deck or not. If you weren't going to finish it on turn 2.
I did actually. So if if I knew I wasn't going to finish on turn 2, I would usually flip to Alter Ego and end in Alter Ego anyway, just because with the threat cap at 12 being so high, there's basically no chance that he's going to scheme out in Standard 1. And you get that card draw, you get that extra flip damage, everything like that. So yeah, basically I always flip to Alter Ego if I think I'm going to go to turn 3, pretty much every single time. So with all that in mind, because you're you're flipping turn 1, then you might be flipping turn 2 if you draw into a split personality, and then you're definitely flipping if you go to a turn 3. Surprise attack, again, just really great damage. What's really nice is because it has that 4 breakpoint and it's an attack event, you can actually use it on turn 1. If you're able to get it off, then you can actually steal a Power Stone and just get that going to boost your attack right away.
Oh yeah, good point. That's really clever that you can do that. It creates a situation where you're almost certainly going to advance him, though. Hey.
Yeah, definitely. Like almost right away. That is why, and we can kind of get into that like as we start playing the game. Usually I don't pop Tax Scanner until turn 2, just because if you pop at turn 1, you're almost guaranteed that you're going to advance him on the first turn.
Yeah.
But you're basically not ever going to be able to finish him off on turn 1. And I found it better over a lot of testing to try and do a bunch of damage to him turn 1, then use Tax Scanner to actually get a bunch of extra cards on turn 2 and trying to finish him off turn 2. That way you don't actually get that extra encounter card from him advancing to stage 2, because some of the encounter cards in this deck can be pretty nasty and really slow down your game.
Yeah, I mean, fully agree that this is part of why I ended up going with the shield build, because I was able to really control what was happening with those cards, and their ability to slow you down was just so strong. So I absolutely hear you. Okay, well, I love it. This is fun. I mean, I think ultimately it's playing out kind of quite similar to how the other rush decks and the other aspects mostly play out, right? You get some of the different advantages because of aggression, but it's still kind of the same approach, but you really kind of fine-tuned it for your specific deck and waiting for that tactical scanner on turn 2, in part because you kind of have access to a little bit of extra early damage. Because I think I can't remember if it was in Protection or Justice, but I could definitely. Well, it was more with playing with Astrodar's deck actually, because that was his was kind of paying a bunch of stuff forward. So you use the tactical scanner on turn 1, so that later on you're going to have a bunch of extra resources to be able to not stall out. Which was like a great use of tactical scanner. And then I also played a bunch of rounds where I was trying to play tactical scanner on the turn where I wanted to be able to finish him, which was rarely on 2 and was more often on 3. But kind of like you've pointed out, if you get split personality on 2, doing it on turn 2 is pretty realistic.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, like as we play through the game, I can kind of explain like some of the steps of like and why I like chose to play things the way I did and why I chose to strategize the ways I did as we kind of get there. And since we actually drew into it, the one other thing I wanted to mention about the deck is 1x1 is an absolutely insane card in this deck. Really, really great aggression event. The one weird thing that you run into, you can deal a bunch of damage like very, very quickly in this deck, but because your basic attack is so high, you're getting it to 5, and because his stage 1 is on 13 health, you very often actually run into this weird breakpoint where he's at exactly 2 health before you can advance him to stage 2, making a basic attack would like lose you a bunch of damage more or less.
Right.
So Skilled Strike is definitely one way to kind of make up for that. If you throw that on one of your first attacks, you make sure you don't hit that weird breakpoint. You can do it with one of the 2 attack allies that you have. But one of the coolest things I found is actually with 1x1, how the card reads is, you do 2 damage to a target. If the target's defeated, then do 2 damage to a target. And if you use that on Taskmaster to actually finish off his stage 1, he's considered defeated. So then you can do 2 additional damage to him on stage 2. Between that and just being able to, again, when the minions come out of the deck, and there are a few, they're usually very low health, and again, sinking a basic attack into them would just lose you a bunch of damage. So this is a really good way to clear that off. And then finally, that photographic reflexes of the card. Obviously, the worst freaking card you could draw with in this particular scenario, just because it needs to be a hero attack to
No, it
actually
doesn't.
get.
It doesn't have to be hero attack.
It doesn't have to be a hero attack. I
It
could have
does not.
sworn
No, you
I
you
was
can take
playing that wrong the whole
you
time.
can take ally damage on that one.
Really? Oh my god! I could have sworn I read on the card that it needed to be an attack from a hero specifically. Well,
No,
that's really good to know.
yeah, that helps you out a little bit.
That's extremely great. But yeah, either way, it's super efficient for clearing out minions, super efficient for clearing him to stage 2 because you can hit those weird breakpoints. So yeah, just great card
Okay,
in general.
so I again read through your guide. I did not totally internalize it, but one of the things I definitely know from having played this myself as well is it is nice to be able to get rid of Hydra Patrol before you flip, so that when you flip, you can use that 2 damage to just defeat the Hydra regular you decide to pop out of Hydra Patrol. So that's kind of one thing you can do. However, I also noticed that we have 1/1 in hand, and so if you were, for example, to keep those 2 cards, then maybe when you flip, you would actually do the 2 damage to Taskmaster, and then use 1/1 to do damage to the Hydra regular that pops out, and then 2 more damage to Taskmaster. However, it then does set up the situation where you've now done 4 damage to Taskmaster. You do another 4 with your attack as 8, steal the Power Stone, and then if you have an extra activation, you advance Taskmaster. So it's now this is where I'll have to rely on your actual experience with this. So my gut reaction was I would probably want to keep Nick Fury in 1/1, but then I almost don't want to do that second activation if I get one.
No, that's totally fair, and I think that's pretty good logic. Like that would be really efficient use of 1/1 in this particular scenario. But in all honesty, when it comes to mulliganing this, we want to go real hard to try and get split personality.
Right.
Like I think I said in the guide, basically you mulligan everything except for split personality, Vivian, Nick Fury, and double resources. Because literally, like drawing split personality in the first 2 turns is usually the difference between a turn 2 victory and a turn 3 victory with this deck.
Fair enough. Okay, I accept your wisdom. I tend to not be the most aggressive mulligan. I'm a bit of a settler than as opposed to a digger. So that's just me, but that's still fun. So here's your surprise attack beauty combo. All right, so what we see is we drew a couple of surprise attacks, ground stomp, and limitless stamina. We're going to, assuming that we're going to try to clear this scheme before we flip and use our flip to get rid of the Hydra regular, we would then keep either the surprise attack or limitless stamina. They ultimately both actually do the same thing because they're getting 4 damage and stealing the Power Stone. So I don't think it really matters.
I would say
Which one?
we probably want to keep limitless stamina because surprise attack only does the 4 damage if you draw a fist resource. So it's just
Aha! Right. So
yeah.
let's
So
not
it's just
taunt
more
fate.
consistent damage for the limitless stamina.
Okay. So I'm gonna play the 4 cards and bring up Fury.
Yeah.
So there's Fury. That's gonna draw us 3 cards, and no fists. So good call. So based on what we're seeing, we're going to do limitless stamina and endurance and get our health up. And I think we're all good to flip. Oh, we got to
clear
actually
off
get the scheme. My mistake.
regular.
After talking about it. So okay, we go get the Hydra regular. Which in the rush version of this, I sometimes don't even bother to go actually grab. Just be like, either I'm going to do this or I'm not. So close that and shuffle. This guy's got 2 health. As you note, Insight is a when revealed effect, and Hydra Patrol is one that actually says puts into play engaged with you. You do not reveal it, so the Insight 1 does not trigger.
Yep, super nice.
super nice. Zola has some of that too. It's kind of there's inconsistencies between where things are revealed and not, so you have to really remember which is which or read. Okay, so I've now flipped. The first thing that happens is we take the damage from Taskmaster,
Mhm.
which is 0 damage.
Nice.
Which is nice unless you're playing protection and then want that 2 damage to be able to actually use your event that needs the heal for the ping. Anyway, so Hydra regular, now we get the 2 damage from flipping. So after you change form, deal 2 damage to an enemy. We'll do that to Hydra regular. Hydra regular goes. Okay. So now we're just going to go attack for 4, ready, attack for 5, endurance, and we're done. Yeah?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, so we attack first for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we grab the Power Stone. We limitless stamina. Attack for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to throw down endurance. We get 1, 2, 3 health. And we are done. So this damage on Taskmaster of 4, there's a little bit of waste potentially, but such is life.
Yeah. That is definitely one of the better breakpoints to hit is just having him with 4. Wasting 1 damage, what are you going to do?
All right. Okay, so we got 1 by 1 Star-Lord Blade. We could potentially, well, I mean, we'll probably choose to do tactical scanners, so we're going to have lots more choices. But anyway, okay, so start of the villain phase, and we get 1 threat added, and then we get the 1 damage from the fact that we're in villain or in hero form.
Mm-hmm.
Taskmaster is going to attack. Of course, we'll block because that's the very logical thing to do. And we get Mimicry. Mimicry is when you're playing aggression, not the best event because this is an attack, for example. But in some of the other aspects where you're actually not dealing with a lot of attack events, Mimicry is not too bad when it comes up as an encounter card. You, on the other hand, might not mind when you're in alter ego and see that.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, it's also not that bad in aggression because we do have surprise attack and 1 by 1, but those are the only real attack events that we care about. Like there's ground stop or whatever, but like that would be better if that was discarded.
Yeah, actually, her kit is pretty light on attack events. Anyway, so we got an assault as our encounter card. So this is great. This is like now we get an actual decision to make. So Taskmaster can steal back the Power Stone if we just let this go through, or we could block and lose our activation, which means we then need a limitless stamina to actually get our activation train going.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a dangerous thing, and then I'll just note one more thing before I kind of ask you what you really think we should do. But if we let him have the Power Stone, we still have 4 attack and can defeat him cleanly, and we have kind of an abundance of health. So to my mind, the letting him just attack and do damage is not actually as risky as it might look. But so what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's actually exactly what I was going to say. In some instances, if I know, like, I have if I'm planning on readying a bunch the next turn, then maybe I would defend just to keep the Power Stone up, save some health, and then, I feel like that would be more efficient. But in this case, because he's already at that 4 health breakpoint, we'd lose the damage anyway by attacking him, and then we'll get the Power Stone right back. We should definitely just take this to the face.
Hey, I love it. Spoken as a true aggression player, that is beautiful. It makes me very happy. So if we had limitless stamina in our hand, we might have a longer debate.
Yeah, exactly. Because then you're wasting some damage. But yeah.
All right. So here we go, and we're taking 3 damage because he's got a base of 2 plus 1 here. So there goes our endurance, basically. 1, 2, 3. Did I Did we take a damage previously when we flipped? No, we didn't take any damage. So we should actually get 16, right? Because endurance.
So we didn't. Yeah.
I missed 1. Okay. So he gets the Power Stone because he just needs to do 3 damage.
Yep, exactly. So he gets the Power Stone back now, and now it's our turn again.
Our turn, and we're gonna pop the tactical scanner.
Yep, we're gonna pop the tac scanner and hope we get a split personality.
Okay, we did not get a split personality. We did get both a limitless stamina and a 1-2 punch. And with Hulk, So let's just do. I want to do a quick count and kind of see what some of our options are here. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
you probably know what you want to do, but I haven't played this, so I certainly don't. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 10 resources total. Limitless stamina and 1-2 punch is going to take me down to 6. Hulk is going to take me down to 3, and that will let me, use a Star Lord or a 1x1, or a blade or something like that. Or if I really needed superhuman strength, just to kind of give me that 2 extra damage to push me over. I mean, I guess I'd use Star Lord in that case, not that. So what do we
yeah.
actually need to do for damage? We're going to do an initial attack, which is going to get 4 off of there. He
Hmm.
flips to 16.
Yeah.
And then so we'll have 5, and then so we'll have 2 extra attacks with 1x1 and limitless stamina. So that's another 10 damage. We still have to find 6 more damage, and ideally 2 thwart.
Yeah, exactly. So let's try and math this out a little bit to see what we can actually end up doing. Because let's see. Okay, we could do 6 more damage in the form of.
So we have
Actually,
we have 6 resources available, including the card itself.
okay, gotcha. So let's see. Okay, so literally doing like math in my head right now. Let's see. Okay, so because what I'm thinking is we do actually have the 6 additional damage that we might need. We have that in the form of doing blade and 1x1.
Yeah, or Star Lord and 1x1 as well would be another.
Well, yeah, and actually, I was thinking of maybe possibly saving Star Lord to first to thwart on the end too, because like then we could possibly get a clean win depending on how we're looking for resources. So we got two. We got 1, 2 resources for that. Are we going to be like 1 resource short to be able to pull this off? Yeah, it looks like it.
Yes, yes.
Of course. Let's see. It's 4 as opposed to 3 cards.
Yeah, so I get the short version of the thing we're currently discussing is if we brought out one of the allies to do 2 damage to Taskmaster, then hit him with 1x1 to advance him, then he'd be at 14 health after he flips. We'd be able to hit with She-Hulk once with the 4, take the Power Stone, use the other 2 activations, and finish him. We would not be able to get rid of the threat. So um, that's the basic story of where things are at in terms of kind of what we're up against.
Yeah, exactly. And I was trying to also just like math out in my head if we could maybe get a lucky draw with Hulk to try and finish him off this turn, but I don't think that's possible either. So let's see.
Oh, right. So if we hit with Hulk the 4, because we drew, we wouldn't be able to draw Hellcat, but we could draw an energy, which would do the 1 damage and get us to 4.
Hmm. Right. Yeah, and if we do
Um,
this, it would be to 5.
but
So
so that one actually also does work. Like we could start with Hulk, and then depending on what happens there, because if this doesn't work, we could just plan to flip and then finish it next turn anyway, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was thinking maybe we just start off by punching with She-Hulk to get that exactly 4 damage off, get the Power Stone back, get Hulk out and swing with him and see how much damage we do with him, and kind of like go from there, more or less, because that's the biggest factor into like deciding what we want to do after that.
Um, right. So okay. So you want to advance him first, or you want to do Hulk first?
Let's advance him first.
Because we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And that way, there's no awkward 1 damage we have to find if Hulk doesn't work.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So we attack. Um, we attack for 3. I mean, the one. I mean, 4. Sorry. The one No, this works. Okay, I was just thinking about the 1-2 punch consequence, but this is fine. Okay, so we do next villain. So we get Taskmaster. That gives us an encounter card. We get the Power Stone. We now have an attack of 5 again.
Mhm.
We're gonna bring out Hulk and see if this works. Pretty funny. Or yeah, I guess because if it doesn't work, Hulk doesn't stay. Okay, so we're doing it.
Yeah. Let's do this, and yeah, like let's just see where the damage lands after that, and keep making decisions from there.
Okay, we got a fist. So that's the 2
Hey,
damage we needed. So that's 1, 2, 3 plus 1, 2.
yep, perfect.
Right.
Okay.
And then we get our limitless stamina. Oh, so I think I got lost in the count. Anyway, we got our limitless stamina. We untap. We attack.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we 1, 2 punch.
Yeah.
Did I get rid of something I shouldn't have?
I don't think so. No, yeah, I think we're good there.
Okay, so we 1, 2 punch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wrong person. We 1, 2 punch, and then okay, and then so finally, this we still we still are basically they're gonna finish it, or thwart and flip.
Yeah. So I think it's definitely better to get the clean win. So we definitely want to do that. And with that in mind, we might actually want to do for She-Hulk's last activation a thwart because that'll actually clear the rest of the threat off of the scheme. Because we
So
know if we flip, we're going to have plenty of damage to finish them off next turn.
yeah,
So we should just use yeah, we should definitely just use that to thwart.
right, and then
And
so we
then
just bring out Blade,
uh-huh.
and then hold Star Lord because that's actually well, he's not. It's going to give us some health to recover from this other thing, right? But
Yeah, absolutely. And I almost want to say if we want to backtrack, if there was a fist resource that we
well,
threw
that's what
away
I was wondering.
before.
That's what I was wondering about earlier. About that, we do have a fist that I could have done instead in the form of the legal practice.
Okay. So yeah, if we backtrack that and then use legal practice, we can get that extra attack off with Taskmaster just to be safe. Never know with that extra encounter card if we're going to get a bunch of like extra health or something like that from some guards or something. So
Right. And then, so as a reminder, with Blade, he actually doesn't take consequential. So the fist is preventing him from getting discarded. But either way, he doesn't take consequential. Okay. So we're going for the clean victory, and I mean, um,
and I'm trying to
we got
think about.
we got this really awkward piece with 1-2 punch where we're gonna win if we attack, so we actually can't use the 1-2 punch.
Yep.
So we don't have the stuff to power superhuman law division. So this thing might be an awkward way to get to a clean victory, but such is life.
Yeah, we will
Uh,
figure it out.
okay, so turn 2, he goes to add a threat here, and then Jennifer Walters says, "I object," and then we get our actual scheme, which is +0. However, because we're not in hero form, it's 1 extra threat. So it's effectively 1 boost icon. He's at 2, so it's 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to get 2 encounter cards, and this is where we can totally sink ourselves. The Retaliate 1, totally fine time to get that.
Mm-hmm.
And totally crappy time to get that.
Yeah, that'll do it. No, that's okay. We can still figure this out. We should still probably be able to finish this off this turn, just because if we're able to clear the threat off of that scheme, then we can actually get one of the really awesome zero cost allies out. So we might actually
Agreed.
be okay. So,
Agreed. Okay, so we're going to. We got nothing to do on Alter Ego side because we did not get um, a mental resource, so we can't actually use Superhuman Law Division to help our case anyway.
right.
Which is, I mean, it's pretty inefficient, but it is thwart. So
Yeah,
we
right.
flip. We see Taskmaster does 2 whole damage to us,
Okay.
and we do 2 damage in return.
Mm-hmm.
That's the very fun design of this scenario that
Mm-hmm.
League Commish gave us. Okay, and then what you're saying is we're going to do double thwart with
Mm-hmm.
the limitless stamina, then
Yep.
blade can thwart with any of our fist resources.
Yep. You got it.
So that's going to be that. Then blade can thwart with that, and then we'll see what pops out. That's the plan.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so 1, 2, we play this. 3, 4, we hit this again, and then blade thwarts, and that pops captured by Hydra. The heroes for hire are no, we want shuffle are in this pile, and we got
Yes. That's what I'm talking
wow,
about.
that is amazing. Okay, so unfortunately, we don't actually have. We're going to be. We could have had 1 more health if we had a mental resource, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So we bring her out. It does not trigger.
Mm-hmm.
But that's fine. We do the thwart for 3, and then Hulk can finish it off. 1 by 1 can finish it off. None of it is particularly of importance because
Yeah, totally.
the retaliate doesn't hit. Okay, so we got a turn 3 victory with 18, 20, 23 health.
Yeah,
Up,
not too bad, especially considering we never ended up drawing into split personality.
right,
That is actually a relatively low chance. I did the math on it. I can't remember the exact percentage, but it's pretty high with tax scanner revolt and everything like that you hit it before then. But all things considered, since we didn't hit that, that's a really healthy, like clean victory for turn 3. And we definitely lucked out a little bit there in the end with getting White Tiger out of the captured by Hydra. Else we would have either had to basically leave 1 threat on the
yep.
main scheme or just like go for another round. So that was awesome.
Or it could have been 2 actually if Elektra showed up because she's only got 1 thwart and 3 attack.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. But no, that went really well. Considering the bad luck of doing split personality and then getting that captured by Hydra, I guess the White Tiger kind of balances that out.
Right,
So,
right.
law
So
of
that
averages.
yeah, that was very fun. And it's one of those things where you're like, Hulk not having thwart doesn't matter. In this case, it mattered, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is so funny. All right, MathyNoodles, thank you for joining for a team up. Thanks everybody who tuned in, and I guess we're all looking forward to round 2.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for having me again for this team up. Always a freaking blast. Yeah, take it easy, everyone.
Love it.